Well, hello. Once again, this is me, Leonard Wells, broadcasting as usual from Haslingden, north of Manchester, 30 miles or 50 kilometres north of Manchester in the UK, on Thursday, the 20th of October 2011. This is my vlog for today. So much has happened, it seems, today, that yesterday has been sort of wiped out. I can't think of anything other than my shopping that I did yesterday. But today, so much has appeared in the news. Gaddafi, Muammar Gaddafi, who ruled Libya for 40 years, is dead. Shot, apparently, hiding in a city called, or town called Sirte, I think it is, in Libya, and his body has been displayed around the globe in graphic pictures. And I'm sure the Libyan people are very happy, and let's hope their transition to democracy, if that's what comes about, will be smooth. But it takes a long time. It cannot happen overnight. So we mustn't be disappointed if they've gone from a dictatorship into a little bit of difficulty, and it may be decades before we see anything like a kind of democratic government, because they're not used to it. They've seen how we do it, but our actions speak louder than words. And they weren't happy to see us go into Iraq and to go into Afghanistan, although they were quite happy when we bombed Gaddafi's forces. And personally, I think it's disgraceful that the government's telling us how little money we've got and how poor we are, and suddenly they find 500 million to bomb Libya. Well, anyway, that's beside the point. He was a terrible dictator, Gaddafi, and good riddance to bad rubbish. He supported all kinds of terrorist groups, including the IRA, and he supplied them with explosives, with Semtex, which they would have had great difficulty getting hold of, but for Gaddafi. And I think the guy was probably on the Kinky side, because he liked these women bodyguards that he had. Can't say that I blame him in some senses, but we don't quite understand where he was coming from, because he was a very secretive type. And he had this strange habit of taking a tent with him wherever he went, rather than staying in a embassy or other building or a hotel or something. He used to carry his own tent around. What the idea of that was, I don't know. Whether he was afraid he was bugged and the tent wouldn't be bugged. Anyway, that's beside the point. This news has dwarfed the other UK news, which was the dismantling of the travellers' site, caravans, etc., the gypsy caravans and so on the farm, on that farm in Essex, which had taken 10 years and cost millions upon millions of pounds. Why it took 10 years, I don't know. It beggars belief. But there's a lot of misconception around, because they didn't just turn up and take over the land. They bought the land. Their mistake was not getting permission to build on it. And they were told they would not be given permission because it's greenbelt land. Well, after 10 years and an awful lot of money, they're going to be moved off within the next 24 hours, I would say, completely. The children go to school locally, and from what I saw on the BBC, the site looked very clean and tidy. Now, where they're going to go, Lord only knows. So whether we've just shoveled the problem under the carpet or not, I don't know. Many people are not aware that Hitler targeted the gypsies as much as he did the Jews during the Second World War. And thousands upon thousands of gypsies were exterminated by Hitler and had a very, very, very tough time during the Second World War. Now the EU, with the 27 countries and the freedom of movement of peoples, the Schengen Agreement and so on, has suddenly released the possibility for a lot of these gypsies to move from one country to another, to any country within the EU. As citizens of one country in the EU, they have the right to move somewhere else. And so a lot have come to the UK, and a lot have gone to Sweden and Norway. And, all right, maybe they abuse slightly, or to some extent, the benefit system. Well, there's an awful lot of ordinary folk around in Britain who abuse the benefit system. We keep seeing little clips of people who claimed disability allowance and housing benefit, etc., because they couldn't work, because they had a bad back, and it turns out they were trapeze artists in their spare time or something, or they gave yoga lessons, or, you know, that kind of thing. So we mustn't jump to conclusions that anybody who is a gypsy is simply a beggar who abuses the system. There are a lot of them around, that there is no doubt. But they came originally from India. Now when they arrived in Romania, for example, they were badly treated. They were treated as slaves, like the Africans were treated as slaves by the British and by other European states. Many of those blacks were shipped, as we know, to America and North and South America. And the gypsies were given a very hard time. Now, their nature was itinerant. So they very rarely moved into a town. Maybe they were very, very shy and they just preferred to stay on the outside. Who can tell, really? But they had all kinds of abilities, like they were good at metalwork, and they would come along, set up a little stall, have a little charcoal fire, and they would melt rings and make them into brooches, and brooches and make them into rings, and so on. And they would mend pots and pans, and they had all kinds of skills, and they were very musical. I mean, one of the most popular singers in Romania today is a gypsy. And many of the weddings that you see in Romania are accompanied by gypsy music, at least in the streets, not inside the churches, of course. I saw one myself just a week or so ago in Bukovina, in the far north of Romania. So that's two of the big news items that have been on the news today. If Gaddafi had not been killed, this Dale farm in Essex would have probably been the main item of news. In the last day or two, with Liam Fox, the Defence Secretary, fell on his sword and handed in his notice as Defence Secretary, as he'd been playing silly beggars with a friend of his, who'd been his best man, and followed him around the planet, pretending to be his advisor, financed by some wealthy people in the Conservative Party. Well, that's about it. God bless, while it's still legal in the UK to say God bless. Take care. Bye for now.